So today we are going to start off with the chapter of globalization. What is the meaning of the word globalization? Is that what is global? Global means the world. Lization means socialization. Global plus socialization, which means integrating different types of societies into a one unit or together. So in this chapter what we are going to learn is we are going to learn the concept of socialism, the impacts, the causes of globalization, or the political consequences, the economic consequences, and cultural consequences, and what is resistance to globalization. So let's begin with this important part of the chapter. Now, what is the concept of globalization? And now you can see here so many Nepalese workers come to India to work. That's globalization. Yes, that's globalization, because when we integrate societies, when we integrate people, we will bring them together from different countries, from different communities, from different areas, even from different religions. So when they come together, they work together, and it's for the benefit of the society only. Now there is a subtle concept of the globalization. You see, there is a person who works in a call center, comes late in the evening, and he enters his office and speaks a different language, and here who his people are away thousands of miles, and he works day and night for his overseas customers. Now his never likely to meet physically, because he is providing call services to a person whom he has never seen, whom he has no personal contact with. So his he's serving the people of another country, of different countries, but he doesn't have himself the contact. So globalization has made possible this contact and communication through trade and commerce. Now there are some examples. You can see that this one, the Sarika, is a first generation learner, and she was a very good student, hardworking student, and she has an independent career which the women had of her family never dreamed of, because she's a woman. We know women empowerment is very important, and through globalization we can use it as a weapon to ensure that women are empowered. They're empowered to go ahead with new opportunities. They are able to fulfill their dreams. Now you can see there is globalization in all three of them, because she is currently working in different parts of the world with different people. So her status of work, her idea, her knowledge is increasing. So is the concept of globalization. Now see, globalization is looked from a different perspectives. Now some farmers committed suicide because their crops failed. They had bought expensive seeds sold by a MNC. Now, due to bad weather or not so good irrigational facilities and other things, they were not able to ensure that they get a crop that would suffice them, that would help them in their living. Now, they cannot do it. Okay, so this is also a perspective that a multinational company is also working on a globalized basis. So it is working in a global pattern. Now the Indian company supposedly brought a major rival company based in Europe, and despite some protest, but who is going to get it? The person who has the money to buy it, and because they don't have the option, the owners if don't have the option but to sell it off, because they are currently in a debt, or they have some financial difficulties, or they want to shift from one production to another. For example, if they want to shift from tea to a pen production, they will have to like sell out their old factory sets or repair them, renew them. So then they will have to modify and change. That is also seen a globalization, because the buyers of the companies are from a global players, or global companies who will buy his or her factory sets and other industries. Now Many retail workers fear that they will lose their livelihoods if some international companies come and start retail chains, because the international company we think, and their quality is also more, their quality of products is more, so we will not be able to supply the same quality of product at such a cheap price, so our workers are bound to fail, so there can be takeovers. Okay, now the examples following: a film producer in Mumbai was accused of lifting the story of his film from another film made in Hollywood. So he is taking different cultures into account, different films into account. This is also another perspectives. Okay, now this examples shows that there can be a positive as well as a negative consequence. So you can see a militant group or an extremist group, they are issuing or threatening to girls who are wearing the western clothes. Now this is another negative aspect, because some people in the society may approve of the western clothes and some may not, so that's the problem. So here this example shows that it has a negative impact on many people. Now it's very true. Now it's always in the direction of influence from the rich to the poor country. It's not that from the rich to the poor countries, it is so, it can be from poor to as well as the rich countries. Now globalization is a fundamental concept, it is a flowing concept. People need to flow as goods and services flow, people across cultures need a flow, means their knowledge flow, okay, their skill flow, their work flow, okay, and the world interconnectedness, and that is in a sustained way. Sustained way based example is the climate treaties, the Paris climate agreement. So in a sustainable way, we are all in the world, people are trying to control climate change. So this is also a constant effort. If globalization had not been there, these treaties would not have been signed. So this is an idea. Does globalization lead to smuggling? Yes, to some extent. Okay, sometimes some drugs are smuggled, and smuggling can be of anything. Okay, it's not just about the things which are smuggled, it can be not only goods but also services, for example, human trafficking too. And is globalization is imperialism? Not to some extent, because it also leads to a greater number of benefits. Now its benefits outweighs the losses, so it is accepted. Now it is a multi-dimensional concept, not only politically but also economically and culturally it must be manifested. We will see how, what are the effects of globalization on politics, on economy and other culture of the people. Now they have purely economic dimension. For example, we are trading with other countries, that means we are taking part in the globalization. But globalization can be not only transfer of technology, better technologies from the underdeveloped, from the developed countries, I mean, to the underdeveloped countries, it will help them. Okay, now it has different dimensions. Now, what are the causes of globalization? Globalization is about the flow of ideas. Ideas means knowledge of cultures, knowledge of the science of technology. Supposedly, USA had done a good type of experiment on the recent COVID vaccine research. It is sharing information with other countries in the world. Other countries will utilize that COVID-19 information to develop new things, new, more unique techniques of combating it, new ways and methods. So this is globalization. There is a flow of ideas, there is a flow of capital. I've told you, technological flow, the commodities and people too. When you are working outside in your own country, you are an immigrant to other countries, we also get a foreign remittance. Remittance are a useful source of income for the people in our country, especially from Punjab, Haryana, okay, and from Kerala too. However, contemporary globalization is the scale and the speed of this flows that is accounted for its uniqueness in the contemporary era. Now you can see, in the backdrop of our needs, we do it. Why do we need to spread this culture of exchanging information so that more developments take place? For example, there are many factors that cause the technological flow too. Now, in our today's world, we have revolutionized communication. Not only we have planes, aeroplanes, but also in some parts teleportation facilities. So there is always a conflicting claim between capitalism and internationalism or globalization. Now, you can support any of them. Indeed, you need to have a certain degree of nationalism, but globalization is more useful because it helps people to connect, and we will see the consequences. Then we will itself know the why globalization is more popular than the nationalism. Now we come to the technological advances. Now, as people move from different parts of the world, I've told you commodities will also move, capital will also move. Why? Because these commodities, capitals, these are ideas. Okay, these are knowledge. Now, if a country has an good availability of communication system, we can connect with that country. We can just go to that country and see how they are carrying out or executing this system for our benefits. Okay, and now we come to the part of the bird flu. Bird flu, you see, is not confined to a particular nation, and you see COVID-19 is also not confined to our national boundaries. It has spread to other areas as well. Now, as our economy is so interconnected and integrated, so we also have the things of their consequences. For example, the recession in 2008 that in started in USA but impacted the whole world. For example, the Great Depression, it impacted the whole world in a way or one or another. So we can see that the effects of globalization is felt on a global level, on not only a regional level. Now, if a regional problem occurs, first of all, the COVID-19 virus was detected in China. Now it spread to other areas. So if the problem is created at the regional level, a difficulty is created, then everybody needs to take a part. Everybody needs to take a responsibility for that. So global level measures should be taken. That's what integrates us. Okay, now there are some consequences of globalization. Those are as follows. Now, globalization to some extent has the power to influence the politics of a country, and not to some extent, because nowadays we want a minimalist government or a laissez-faire government. We wanted the people's more people freedom. People want freedom. They don't want excessive rules or governance imposed on them. So they refer to globalization. Now it has reduced the instance of a welfare state, because the state control is now like it is now coming as a fact that it is not healthy for the citizens. Democracy is more healthy for the citizens. So this is also consequences of the globalization. Okay, now the entry of multinational companies into the world, reduction of the government to take its own decisions, because the previously in socialist economies and other closed economies, people used to take, the government itself used to take decisions. It was not a free open market. Government used to regulate everything, like the basic questions of the economics, that what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. But now today in this world, because of greater inflow of technology, goods, commodities, now these are determined by multinational companies, by the people across the world. They take decisions on their own, and the government should not interfere. But the welfare scheme of the government is not under the control of the MNCs or the globalization, because the old rivalries. For example, there was a rivalry between the imperialism and democracy. There was a huge rivalry between Britain and Germany before the First World War. So this has changed, and people now want more cooperation, because united we stand, divided we fall. For perhaps you see that we take measures for terrorism, anti-terrorism. Okay, now India, Russia had been talking on this subject, how to reduce terrorism. So they had been taking anti-terrorism laws. We can learn from each other experiences about the handling of terrorism in particular. So world politics has changed altogether. So it has led to more information flow, not only helpful for the governments but also its citizens, because if there is more information flow, then people will obviously get to know more things, and they will be able to administer the country in a more better way. Okay, this is the outcome of technology. Supposedly a country has established something that is perhaps nuclear power plant, which is for a civilian service, and it is helping to reduce the carbon emissions in that manner. As if you know that there is something called the east, which is the small sun which has been constructed in China so as to combat the global climate change, because many countries are taking part in it, not only China but also Korea, USA, India too. So you can see that technology is helping all the countries who are the main stakeholders, and it's helping the people in particular in general. Okay, so the most important impact is the economic consequences, and there have been debates that whether some companies have been benefiting from it and the others are losing from it. But you can see it, there are certain world organizations like the IMF, WTO, World Trade Organization. They determine the policies, or they determine to what extent shall the globalization or the trade and commerce between countries be there. What will be the rules? And they are consensus rules which will benefit both of them. You know that there has been a huge exchange of commodities. I have told you what globalization leads to: huge exchange of commodities. People are interconnecting, especially online and offline both, to develop ways in which they could like cross their ideas. They could make cross contacts with each other. Okay, and they can share ideas how to live a more sustainable life, because sustainability is the key to development. Okay, now globalization has led to this. You can see here we have something called made in Bulgaria, made in Turkey, made in Bangladesh. You can see people are playing drums, people from different communities, they are together and they're enjoying themselves. They are like taking in the knowledge, they are taking in the ideas from all the people. Now developed countries have carefully guarded their borders with visa policies so that the other citizens of other countries cannot take. There are some reservation in different countries when you have to give a residential qualification. There is obviously the preference system. Okay, they need to protect the citizens, because if more and more migration of people from the underdeveloped countries to the developed countries occur, it will be a huge burden on the economic resources of the country. So it will impact them, it will reduce their income. Okay, if more and people add to this job. Yet there have been opening of several new avenues that will help people get better employment opportunities. And in globalization has led to similar economic policy adopted by the government. Now it has vast outcomes. Sometimes it is affecting the people of that country in a better manner, and the immigrants or people from other countries are losing out. Now this economic globalization has created this concerns about social justice. Why? Because people who are weak are getting more dependent on the government's welfare schemes. Only a small section of the population is getting benefited. That is the businessmen who are the educated, but the general people are not getting educated. And even some companies have been shutting down. I've told you that the our Indian companies or the native companies are unable to fight with the large MNCs, and it leads to takeovers of businessmen, and it leads to losses of lives, losses of livelihood and employment. It is a ruin for the weaker sections, and some say that if free trade economy is there, if government doesn't put restrictions, as in that case I have shown you that government is placing reservations for the people in that country, if it is reduced, then only the whole the people will benefit from this deregulation. And moderate supporters, they say that uh, what do they say is that increased momentum towards interdependence and integration between businesses, governments and ordinary people as a result of globalization. They believe that when governments come together now, especially if there is supposedly climate change is the topic in the conference where different world leaders are meeting, so different governments are meeting. Okay, this is also the result of globalization, and they are meeting. So how the government will connect with the ordinary people. Now they will tell their policies, they will share their policies with the ordinary people, and they will talk with them, they will talk with other businesses how to reduce, how to tackle government, how to tackle this climate change, and then they will come up with measures. Okay, so this is also the result of globalization. Or individual communities also. Some people also think there has been imposition of the Western culture on them. You can see the popularity of Western dresses among women, among the dominant class of the society, or the society which likes itself to be called attractive or to be more powerful. And this has led to the marginalization of other people's culture, especially Indian culture. If you see, if Indian and Western culture comes together, it is said, it is seen that people prefer nowadays more of Western culture, mainly the young people, but it is not so many like the Indian culture too. But there is a dominance, there is like the eradication of the native cultures and imposition of the cultures of the powerful West, as it is said. So now McDonaldization. Now, what is McDonaldization? Which means that McDonald is a food company, more preferably, or a company which serves fast food. Now, it is this has led to the condition in the food market that everyone is running after McDonald's when seeking any fast food. So it has led to the dominant American dream, like we will live their style, we will buy the McDonald's and remain like, we will behave like we are more developed than other people, we are more rich. And this has led to the shrinking of the rich cultural heritage of the entire globe, because people from different areas have different food patterns, food cultures, and food traditions. People must cherish their own as well as respect the others, in my opinion. Now, cultures change from time to time, for both from the external influences as well as from the internal influences. Now, what this external influence is the globalization, and the internal influences is the our wish, our comfort, our choices, okay, our opinions. Okay, that determines our culture. Our culture has been evolving, it has been changing. The burger is no substitute for a masala dosa, so it doesn't pose a real challenge. So masala dosa is in one hand and burger is another thing. Okay, blue jeans can go well with a homespun khadi kurta. So we are not only making cross cultural contracts, we are mixing our dresses, our culture or dress pattern also. Okay, now there has been also the import of our kurtas, the khadi kurtas. Okay, now there it is also leading to cultural homogenization, because kurta is of Indian style and the jeans is of the American style or Western style. So there is homogenization. People from both the countries approve of this. Now, not any particular community or particular region is becoming dominant, but both are given equal respect in this dress pattern, as you can see. Now this is a part of this is called the cultural exchange between countries. Now you can see what's India's position in globalization and what's the resistance to globalization also. Now first we come to the now we come to India's take on globalization. Now when you are a call center person, it is an enriching experience for you, because you go through the calls of many different people from different cultures. In fact, it can be an enriching experience. The behavior of the people, it gives you a generalized view, although there are vast differences. Now, how does India stand now? During the colonial period, as a consequences of British imperialism, India became an exporter of primary goods. We know that tea, coffee, and indigo, especially, okay, tobacco too. And India became a market, huge market for the British manufactured goods also. Now, after independence, we are decided to become more self-sufficient, and we also decide not to allow others to export to us, so that we can learn something on our own. So initially we supported protectionism. Government increase has increased tariff barriers to the imports of other countries. Okay, in this way India was moving at a very sluggish rate, because its uh, economy was not developing in a way. Okay, critical sectors which only had Indian ideas and no ideas from other countries, that was a difficult period. Now in 1991 there was a huge financial crisis, and there was a huge debt, and IMF, Indian Bank, all like heavily imposed restrictions on our loans, and they said the only way to get through is to open up the economy. Now what do you mean by open up? It is globalization. Okay, now we have seen the arguments against globalization. It has made the rich richer and poor poorer. The rich and the educated, who could use the tool of globalization to not only connect to people, but also gain from various business transactions all over the world. Economically, we have learned self-reliance as a means of protectionism. Why protectionism? Because we want to protect our industries. We give more preference to our people than other people. Okay, so this is a resistance against self globalization, the self-reliance. Okay, culturally, why self-reliance always have been there, why the resistance have been there. I have told you that homogenization of the culture has led to that. People want to protect each other's in cultural heterogeneity. Okay, they are different, they want to say that. There has been anti-globalization movements. Okay, and see, in 1999 World Trade Organization, the ministerial meeting, there was widespread protests at Seattle, that there were unfair practices by the economically powerful states. Now in the economically powerful states or the developed countries have a more weightage, their opinions, I'm saying about their opinions, have a more weightage on the global policies. So everybody is on a rush to become a superpower, so as to impact the world trade system in their own favor. But it was argued that the interests of the developing countries were also given space here. Now, the World Social Forum. This, in this case, you can take a stand that suits you. You may have different opinions, but overall, globalization is helping us more than damaging. World Social Forum is another global platform, and this World Social Forum brings the human rights activists, environmentalists, labor youth, women activists. Now, what is the meaning of activists? Who spread awareness about certain social issues in the country all over the world through their offline as well as online campaigns. So people are supporting them. They are for the better. They are in a way to create a better world and society. The first meeting was in Brazil in 2001, and the fourth was in Mumbai, that is in India, and the latest one in 2018 was in Brazil. Okay, now India has been resisting globalization. Actually, the problem is with the mindset of the people. Okay, now the resistance have come from different quarters. The left wing protests to economic liberalization. As we know, left wing, they are more protectionist type of people. There has been protests from the Indian socialists, Indian farmers also. Now they are the entry of multinationals. They were against the entry of multinationals because their business will go down if the multinational companies set up their own industries. Now the patenting of certain brands like name by American and European firms have also generated considerable opposition because people think neem is native to India. Okay, now the resistance has come from the rightists to ranging from the availability of foreign TV channels, celebration of Valentine's Day, westernization of girl students in schools, and this we can see in the most way that people are more impacted by it, especially the young people are more influenced by the Western cultures. So in a way, the old people or the orthodox people are not accepting it, but I think the mindset should be changed and people need to be empowered. So this much for today. Thank you for watching.